Hello and welcome to my short presentation about GCSE music at Abbott Bain. Here at Abbott Bain we follow the OCR music specification. It's an excellent specification to study and it builds on the knowledge and skills that you've already acquired at Key Stage 3. The elements of performing, composing and listening and appraising are incorporated through a wide variety of areas of study. You will study your own instrument, and that is an instrument of your choosing. It could be that you play the violin or the viola or the cello or the flute or the clarinet or the saxophone, or you might play the trumpet or the cornet. That means basically that any instrument is a legitimate instrument for you to study. It could be that you play the drums, you could play the guitar, you could play the bass guitar. You might sing. Singing is also a recognised instrument at GCSE. That can include rapping or beatboxing. It can also include DJing and sequencing. What are the benefits for you to study this course? Well, the specification develops your skills in performing, composing, listening and appraising. 60% of the marks are for composing and performing. So there is quite a strong practical element in this course and in the way that it's assessed. Total performance time will be 4 minutes across both performances. Total composition time is 3 minutes across both compositions. So as your coursework in this particular subject, you will do 2 performances and 2 compositions. The 2 performances usually will include a solo performance and an ensemble performance, and the 2 compositions are written during your time on the course. The first one, which we start in year 10, is a composition of your own brief, which is something that you want to write. And then the second composition is a brief that is given to you by the exam board at the start of year 11. The listening paper encompasses a wide range of areas of study and the content is very interesting. One of the main benefits of this course is that it provides excellent progression onto the A-level music courses should you wish to take music further. So let's have a look at the specification content. The first area of study is your music. So the music performed is decided by you. Obviously, I will talk to you and give you support and guidance, but ultimately they are your decisions about what kind of music you wish to learn to play, to practice, to develop your own style and to develop your own playing. And it's very interesting that your first composition also is your own unique property, in that you will decide what your brief is going to be, you set it and you compose it. The next one is the area of study which is the concerto through time, and we'll study the development of the concerto from the Baroque period through the classical period and into the Romantic period. In the listening paper, there are 2 questions about this particular area of study for you to answer, and the answers will be what we've studied as we've gone through that particular genre. The next area of study is Rhythms of the World, where we will explore the traditional routes from 4 geographical regions of the world, and we will study India and the Punjab, Eastern Mediterranean and the Middle East, Africa, and the Central and South America. This is quite an exciting and vibrant topic for us to study, and it broadens our musical understanding from the rest of the world. As with the concerto through time, there are 2 questions on this topic in the listening paper. The next area of study is film music. So we'll study music that's been written specifically for film. We'll study music from the Western classical tradition that's been used within a film, and music that's been written as a soundtrack for a video game. There are 2 questions on this topic in the listening paper, and it's a very exciting topic for us to cover. And then finally, we'll study a range of popular music from the 1950s to the present day. We'll study rock and roll from the 50s and 60s, rock anthems from the 70s and 80s, pop ballads from the 1970s, 80s and 90s, and solo artists from the 1990s to the present day, which is a very exciting and balanced curriculum all in all. So, how is it weighted and assessed? Let's have a look. The first part is what we call an integrated portfolio, and that will be 1 solo performance and 1 composition. These are the 2 pieces which are based on your own study and own development of your own instrument. So you will practice a piece of your choosing and learn to play it, perfect it, get it to the highest standard you can, and perform it as your solo performance. You will create your own composition, probably for your own instrument, and as you create that, you'll be working on your own brief, using your own ideas, and you will decide where you're going to take it. That's the first unit, and that is worth 30% of your overall mark. The second is an ensemble performance, which again is 15% of the mark. Your ensemble performance will usually be with someone else in the class or with me as your teacher, but it's you and one other person, or can be multiple people, playing together, and that will give you 15% of your mark. And then your second composition, the exam board will set the brief. Now the exam board will give you a stimulus, which will start off your study, and it will be some chords or a rhythm or the start of a melody or just 4 bars of music. But the idea is that you will take that as a starting point and then develop it into your own composition. So that second unit then is an ensemble performance and a second composition, and that is another 30% of your overall grade. So as we've already mentioned, 60% of this GCSE is from coursework, which is practical, which is performing and composing. And then finally, we have the listening examination, which is 40% of the marks, and there are 2 questions from each of the topics we've previously discussed. So there are 2 questions from the Concerto Through Time, 2 questions from Rhythms of the World, 2 questions from film music, and 2 questions from Conventions of Pop. This is an excellent course to study, and what I will say is that I would recommend anybody who enjoys music to join us in our GCSE class, where we will be studying for the OCR GCSE Music. Thank you for listening, and I hope that this presentation has been useful in helping you to decide what subject you're going to pick for your options.